I set out to build the smallest possible, most powerful computer for large language models, or LLMs. So far in my hardware LLM tests, I've been measuring tokens per second, but this time around I'll take size into account and measure tokens per second per cubic centimeter. The higher the number, the better. Now, I could have used an RTX 5090 as we've seen some gaming channels use in small builds, but no. I'm going to kick it up a notch and use the mighty 96GB VRAM RTX Pro 6000, which kind of looks like a 5090 except it's shiny. And this will be able to run much larger LLMs than a 5090 and hopefully not kill itself and everything around it from the heat it generates. I also hope to find out if trading in my M3 Ultra with 512GB of memory was worth it or if I'm gonna regret it, since that machine can run really large models. Obviously, this is the masterpiece of the whole thing, the RTX Pro 6000. Then we need a fast SSD, and this is as fast as they get, up to 14,700 megabytes per second read speed. And that's just nuts. Now for the CPU, I didn't want the top of the line CPU that's gonna get really hot because I want to process everything on the GPU. So this is the Ryzen 9 9900X. I didn't even go for the 9950 because that's not gonna give us that much of an advantage. This is 12 cores, the other one is 16 that I have here. So this should be enough. In fact, I wanted the CPU to be a little bit less powerful so it doesn't generate as much heat. Some case fans, I got two of these Noctuas. These are the 15mm slim design. Now, I haven't done liquid cooling in a while. In fact, that was my last computer and it was a while ago, but it leaked all over my motherboard and ruined it. So I'm a little bit wary about this, but Dan at Micro Center said, let's do this. I also needed a lot of power. This is 1000 watts. The GPU itself takes 600 watts maximum. So we definitely need to have that extra headroom in the power. And this is the small SFX form factor power supply. Hopefully I'll be able to shove everything in the tiny case. For the motherboard, Asus Strix X870i. Now there's a version of this that doesn't have USB 4. I wanted USB 4 because I want to be able to transfer large models back and forth easily. So that's an important thing not to... What the heck is Strix Hive 2? What is that? We'll find out. Finally, this case just came out. It's the Master Box. Anyway, Cooler Master NR200P V3. I also ordered the V2, but the V3 just came out, so I thought might as well. And it has the PCIe 5 riser for the GPU on it. This box is a little bit bigger than I expected the case to be. It's not the smallest thing, but it has to be a certain size to fit that GPU in. Oh, spider over here. Get off my camera, you spider. Come on, dude.
How to install a CPU on Asus motherboard.
What? It's been a while. Last time I built a machine was in 2008. Look at this heatsink. I've wasted too much time fumbling with manual screwdrivers and stripped too many screws with a drill until this little guy showed up. This is the Fanttik E2 Ultra cordless electric precision screwdriver. And it's one of those tools that you don't realize you need until you have it. It's got 5 torque settings from 0.05 for delicate electronics up to 0.6 Newton meters for slightly tougher jobs. Whether I'm opening up a laptop or assembling a new PC, I can get just the right amount of power and no more stripped screws. The pop-up case is slick. It holds 50 precision bits, plus a pry tool and tweezers, all magnetically organized and ready to go. You also get an energy bar. Not that energy bar, this energy bar that shows torque and direction, USB-C charging, and an 800 milliamp hour battery that lasts way longer than I expected. If you want to stop struggling and actually enjoy your DIY repair projects, this is the upgrade. Grab the Fanttik E2 Ultra using the link in the description and use my code for a discount. All right, here's the moment of truth. Oh yes, 95.5 gigabytes. May I just say I'm very happy how this build turned out. It's clean. I've actually done some cable management inside. It all fits in this tiny box that doesn't make a lot of noise. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fans in there and a pump. Time to transfer some LLMs. Yeah, I keep them all on this, and that's where that USB 4 plug comes in handy on that motherboard. Look at all these models. I'm just gonna get them all. I have enough space. Nice. As soon as I copy those over, they're now available immediately in LM Studio. What's going on with these little question marks here? Let's see if I can run the model. Failed to load model. Did it get corrupted or something? Let me restart LM Studio. Oh, that's weird. DeepSeek R1 Distill Quen 1.5 billion. A completely useless model, but it makes me feel good when I spend 10 grand on a video card and I can type hi to it. 317 tokens per second. All right, let's get rid of that. Let's actually pick a model that's kind of useful and also something that can't run on smaller GPUs. Even the 5090 won't be able to run a model like a 70 billion parameter one. Here we go. Llama 3.3 70 billion instruct, and this is the Q8. So yeah, it's 70 gigabytes in size. Let's give it a slightly better prompt. You're a senior software architect, blah, blah, blah. Your responsibilities include designing the system, describing CI/CD, explaining how to monitor performance, and so on. Pretty decent prompt. 205 tokens input, not too bad. There it goes. Let's take a look at activity monitor, rather task manager, excuse me. We're using 60 out of 96 gigabytes of VRAM, not maxing it out yet, but we're utilizing only 27% of that GPU. I don't think I loaded that model correctly. For some reason, it's using the memory and it's using the CPU. Let me go ahead and stop this. We'll see the tokens per second. 3 tokens per second. That's not good. Definitely something wrong there, and I believe it's because I probably offloaded only part of the model to the GPU. Here I can offload all of it to the GPU. And make sure that you have this manually choose model load parameters. This is the first time I'm running LM Studio here, so I don't have that checked yet. I usually do, and this will give me options. So that means when I select my model, there we go. So automatically LM Studio wants to offload 66 out of 80 layers to the GPU, which means the rest will run on the CPU. Not good. Let's offload everything to the GPU and load. Let's see how many more tokens per second we can squeeze out by doing this. Right now I'm getting help from a few different components here. I have very fast DDR5 memory in there, very fast GPU, pretty fast CPU, and the SSD is one of the latest. So we're gonna have a good fast loading of the model right from the very start, from the SSD all the way to the memory, to the system memory first, and then all the way to the V memory. Let's pop open a new chat and paste that in. Let's go. And there it goes. Much faster. You can see it. Now we're using 72.8 out of 96 gigabytes of VRAM. And you can see that the CPU is barely working. The memory is just barely there, but all the work is happening on that GPU, which is how it should be. It's gonna be a nice little machine. All right, it's planning out our architecture, being very detailed. That's great. The 70 billion parameter model is pretty good for this kind of stuff. Let's stop it, because if I stop it now, it's not gonna matter. And we're getting 19.18 tokens per second, which is faster than I can read. So I'm fine with it. I actually got rid of my 512 gigabyte Mac Studio, maybe unfortunately, or maybe not. Still not sure if that was a mistake. So I reached out to my friend Ivan, who still has his, and he's been using it for all kinds of LLM experiments and quantization work, and he shares a lot of it on Hugging Face and on X. I'll link to his profile below.
It's still downloading, I think it will require still a few minutes, not?
I asked him to run a few of the same tests on his M3 Ultra. First test was Llama 3.3 70 billion parameter 8-bit model, but quantized for MLX. So this is a little bit different because the one I'm running is FP8 and this is int8.
You are totally right. It's able to run the FP16, not the FP8, because FP8 is optimized for NVIDIA.
So slightly different than I had, of course, since NVIDIA supports FP8 and M3 Ultra supports int8 quantizations. Although Ivan thinks Apple's next Ultra, the M5, might have FP8 support too.
I think that the next release M5 of the Silicon probably will support it.
Really? But it's Apple, who knows? For those of you that aren't familiar with these quantization levels, while both quants require about the same amount of GPU memory, around 70 to 75 gigabytes. FP8 is a way to reduce model size and speed up processing using an 8-bit floating point format. It keeps more accuracy than int8, which the M3 Ultra uses. int8 needs more careful quantization to avoid losing model quality, while FP8 is more flexible, especially for big models like this one. Several different prompts later, and the results are pretty consistent.
Let's see.
That's acceptable.
9 tokens per second.
I think that's pretty good. I can read slower than that, so it's good.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Around 9 tokens per second at just 185 watts inside a 3.6-liter chassis. For raw speed, the RTX machine is 2 times faster, but if we take into account the size of the machine, the Mac Studio wins by more than 2x at performance per liter. I admit that it's an odd metric, sure, but for portability and space, if that's important to you, then this is huge. Finally, a metric that is pretty significant, especially in data centers, is efficiency, and the Mac Studio is a huge winner here. And yes, I may have some seller's remorse, especially when I haven't booted up the full 671 billion parameter DeepSeek R1.
Because it used all the RAM, 500 gigabytes. Boom, here we are. Boom.
Hey, there it goes.
It's fast, huh?
That is pretty good. Wow.
Yeah, it is. 19.6 tokens per second.
And got 19 tokens per second. However, I'm still really happy with my build since I consider it to be the smallest ITX with more VRAM than I've ever seen. Have you seen it anywhere else? Come on. YouTubers, where are you with your builds? I did also pick up another M3 Ultra, but a slightly different one than Ivan's.
It's there!
Video coming soon on that one.
Thank you, Alex.
Big thanks to Ivan. Links to his Hugging Face and X down below in the description. But it's not over, because this is a Pro GPU and it has one more trick up its sleeve. Check this out. Bam. Llama 3.3, 70 billion instruct, FP8. We've hit almost all full 600 watts on this. Full memory usage, and look at the tokens per second. 1005. I bet you want to know more? That's for another video, so stick around.